Just like anybody, when you age, I think you do gain confidence and more realization of what you have to offer the world. And I feel like that's definitely grown dramatically. I enjoy what I'm doing and I'm making a difference.
Good evening, everyone. It's so good to see so many people join us here tonight to celebrate the 15th anniversary of NAGLAZYME, a therapy for MPS VI patients. What a change it has been over the past 15 years. We could only dream that we would have patients living into their adult years and beyond. I'm Terry Klein. I'm the president and CEO at the National MPS Society. It's devastating. It is a devastating disease.
I was diagnosed at the age of 4, and they told my parents that I wasn't gonna live past the age of 10. My body is missing the enzyme that is needed to clean my cells. Need help.
The geneticist would tell the mom and dad, there's absolutely nothing we can do for you. Just go home, enjoy them while they're here.
I believe we are pioneers, and it's part of what the company was founded upon, this really great mission of making a huge impact in our patients' lives.
Without BioMarin, these patients would have absolutely no hope. There is nothing more motivating than that.
And along came NAGLAZYME. I am excited to introduce our first speaker. She's a remarkable woman from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Kendra.
Thank you, Terry. If I didn't have MPS, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't have written 3 books. I would not be as passionate about adaptive clothing, and I certainly wouldn't be here tonight speaking to you. What empowers me is helping the whole society, realizing that people with disability, rare disease, want to be involved in the community. They want to be seen just like anybody else. I work at the Center for Disabilities in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, as a marketing communication specialist. I'm able to wear 2 hats, so I can be on committees, being a representation of the Center for Disabilities. But in the last 5 years, I've also been more involved on committees within the state. I was able to be on the governor's vocational rehabilitation board, working with them as a partner on projects. This year is going to be the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. We've come a long way, but at the same time, there's a lot more that needs to happen. I graduated from college with a degree in sociology and psychology. I've written 3 books. First one was Live, Laugh, Lemonade, A Journey of Choosing to Beat the Odds. The second was a kid's book called Kendra's Lemonade. I like the lemon part. You can see the theme. Recently, I did my 3rd book, and that one's called Kendra's Perfect Dance Routine. By the end, Kendra realizes you dance your own special way, and that's perfect, because the way we are and the way we do things is our own special perfect.
Well, NAGLAZYME was our first product that we marketed ourselves.
The NAGLAZYME legacy absolutely is a huge part of our foundation. It really was NAGLAZYME that changed everything.
Well, so May of 2005 was quite a lot of fun here at BioMarin. The company was in sort of dire straits at the time. We were running out of cash really fast. And then on the other side, everybody was very excited that we had such a dramatic clinical effect with NAGLAZYME in these patients. And we, blew the socks off with that data. That's when JJ stepped on board. We got NAGLAZYME approved in the United States.
With NAGLAZYME, 2/3 of our patients in general are outside the US. We said, how are we going to get it to all the patients around the world? JJ made the call. He stepped in and said, you know what? We're going to do this ourselves.
I'm a pediatrician and medical geneticist. I prescribed the first patient in all Latin America being commercially treated with NAGLAZYME. When I was hired in 2006, I was the employee number 2 in Latin America, so I was covering all the startup, all the business.
I was employee number 5 in Latin America. That was a moment where BioMarin gave us a lot of freedom to find our way. How do we find patients? How do we talk with the physicians?
We, country by country, were learning how to do what we needed to do.
NAGLAZYME allowed us a big enough footprint in so many countries, commercially and then on the clinical side. And that helped us advance all of our products.
It's incredible to think that NAGLAZYME was approved 15 years ago.
It also saved BioMarin. NAGLAZYME was our turning event for the health of our company and for the health of the patients.
BioMarin has been an incredible partner to the National MPS Society, a real partner. Our reach for our patients is greater because you believed in us. And we believed in NAGLAZYME.
We came in 2003. My family, they left everything in Guatemala, careers, house, friends, because it was gonna save my life. In 2018, I graduated from Cal State East Bay with summa cum laude, bachelor in sociology, and that was a big moment for me. I was really excited. I even had to do a speech at graduation. But I think what I learned about those 4 years in college was that I am capable to do anything, that I set my mind into it. Some of the things that I still continue doing is be an advocate for rare disease. I always like to host events to spread more awareness about rare disease, or go to DC with the MPS Society to go to the Capitol and talk to legislators, to help the rare disease community. And I also come here in Sacramento for their support and help. It's very important when you talk, from the heart, and you see what we're going through, like how our life is. Not everyone knows what rare disease is. When I went to Sacramento, I worked with Assembly Member Ponta twice a week. I mean, you're an advocate for rare disease, so you gotta feel part of it. And one of an assignment in Mr. Ponta's office was to create a bill, and I presented at the state capitol in Sacramento. It's called Genetically Handicapped Person Program. That can help you, with healthcare services for genetic diseases. MPS is not on the list, and MPS is a rare disease, right? So my idea is to add MPS to the GAPP. That way, when you turn 21, you will have insurance that you can depend on. I know it's gonna help the MPS community, for sure. You're making sure that those people, they know that they have a voice and they are being heard.
I think the great thing about BioMarin is that we recognize that NAGLAZYME and the enzyme replacement therapies are our base. They are the ones where we've got the real stories of who we are as a company.
BioMarin in 2005 is not recognizable to the BioMarin in 2020. It has gone through tough times, dramatic growth, and now we're moving forward on the next stage of BioMarin. Instead of looking just at proteins, we're looking at oligonucleotides, gene therapies, peptide therapies to treat these genetic disorders. And the patients we're serving here, whether it be in 2003 when I arrived or 2020, is still first and foremost. And when you have that connection with the patients and the connection with the core fundamental ideals of BioMarin, that's what calls you here and that's what keeps you here.
NAGLAZYME has made a huge impact for patients. To see some of these people now in at university, in productive careers.
Whether it be, trying to get through college or trying to get through their first relationship.
They want to make an impact on society.
I want to write a book. I want to get my master's degree. And it's, a wish that I have, and I still want to keep it, is to be married. Make changes together, make a better world together. I want to be married.
We couldn't foresee what was going to happen with all of these people, not only the patients, but the families also.
And they do still have struggles. What we've seen is an increased need for additional support or services that they need to receive in their state. Do we need to provide more resources regarding socioeconomic issues or regarding depression?
During this journey, we have really been learning and better understanding the lives of the patients.
We as a company are up to the challenge. It's the evolution, a kind of step change.
It's our core values of always putting the patient first.
Another priority is the new patients being born every day.
We still have countries without NAGLAZYME. Patients that do not have access to the treatment.
We'll continue that fight, fighting for patients.
I need to bring all my energy and my effort for these patients without NAGLAZYME. Keep spreading the news on the results of the clinical trials and on the needs that the patients had.
Kendra, you're such a quiet warrior with what you do. Share with the audience what you do when you're out there modeling.
So I like fashion. The opportunity kind of blew my mind. I still don't know how to put it into words. I kind of got to fulfill out like a dream. When Mindy Shear asked if I would be a model, and I'm like, yes. I got to be in a fashion show in 2016 called The Runway of Dreams. I've always loved New York, but to be in like a legit, fashion show, especially being from the Midwest, you don't see a lot of fashion shows. It's unlike anything I've ever done before. Because I was afraid I was gonna trip and fall off the stage. I even told my friend, okay, here's the game plan. If I go down, you're gonna have to swing in, help me up, and then walk out. I did fine. I just said, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. And I did. The reality is, for most people, when you can put on your favorite shoes or an outfit that you feel confident in, it makes you stand up straighter or sit straighter. And people with disabilities or rare diseases, that's a barrier. And so that's what empowers me, is giving people with a disability more inclusion, acceptance. It's helping designers show that you need to put more thought into the design process and that there's a totally untapped market. It's really neat seeing so many companies seeing the light. I would love to do an all-inclusive fashion show in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Models with a disability and models without. Local boutiques, they would dress them. I think there's definitely a possibility of national sponsors. If this is gonna happen, I have to do it.
15 years later, and it's working. When we have these therapies approved, there's such tears of joy, and there's so much hope for families that don't have a therapy yet, that it's such a win for all of us.
The 15th anniversary of NAGLAZYME, to be able to see patients 5 years later, 10 years later, 15 years later, this was all we could have dreamed about.
They're telling their story. When we look at what we've done as a company, to be able to give people the opportunity to tell their story, I think is most probably the greatest gift.